an antrum: primordial, primary, secondary, tertiary. What type of uterus is present in the cow? Duplex, bicornuate, bipartite, simplex. To which part of the uterus does the endometrium belong? Serosa, submucosa, mucosa, lumen. Which best describes the corpus albicans? An atretic follicle, the regressed corpus luteum, the recently ovulated tertiary follicle, a follicle which failed to ovulate. In a tertiary follicle, the innermost layer of cells are theca interna cells, the theca externa cells, the granulosa cells, the basement membrane. The function of the infundibulum is to direct the ovulated oocyst into the uterus. True or false? The fornix of the vagina is the area alongside the internal cervical os. True or false? The mucosa of the vagina consists of columnar epithelium in the anterior vagina and stratified squamous epithelium in the posterior vagina. True or false? Which of the following is not a function of the uterus? Absorption and phagocytosis, muscle contractions, transport of both the sperm and oocyst, provide an environment for embryonic growth. The germinal epithelium of the human ovary is significant because it's the source of the germ cell. This makes the ovary not stick to the infundibulum. This is the covering of the ovary. These cells produce most of the ovarian cancer in the woman. Going from the outside to inside, which of the following sequence is correct? Vulva, cervix, oviduct, ovary, vagina, cervix, oviduct, uterus, uterus, isthmus, infundibulum, ampulla, clitoris, anterior vagina, posterior vagina, uterus. At or near the time of ovulation, large quantities clear and stingy mucus are secreted by the bovine cervix. True or false? The answers of these quizzes: which of the following is the primary sex organ of the female? The answer is ovary. Explanation: the ovary is the primary sex organ because it's produces female gametes, oocyst, and sex hormones, estrogen and progesterone. Which type of follicle has an antrum? The answer is tertiary. Explanation: tertiary or antral follicle has a fluid-filled cavity called the antrum. Distinguish it from earlier follicle stages. What types of uterus is present in the cow? Bicornuate. Cows has a bicornuate uterus which has two uterine horns and a small uterine body, common in the animal with multiple offspring. To which part of the uterus does the endometrium belong? Mucosa. The endometrium is the mucosal lining of the uterus, essential for implantation and pregnancy. Which best describe the corpus albicans? The regressed corpus luteum. After the corpus luteum degenerate, it becomes the corpus albicans, a fibrous scar on the ovary. In the tertiary follicle, the innermost layer of the cell are the granulosa cells. Granulosa cells surround the oocyst and are inside the basement membrane, forming the innermost cell layer. The function of the infundibulum is to direct the ovulated oocyst into the uterus. False. The infundibulum directs the oocyst into the oviduct, fallopian tube, not directly into the uterus. The fornix of the vagina. The fornix of the vagina is the area alongside the internal cervical os. The answer is true. The fornix is the recessed space around the cervical opening, where the cervix protrudes into the vagina. The mucosa of the vagina consists of columnar epithelium in the anterior vagina and stratified squamous epithelium in the posterior vagina. The answer is false. The vagina mucosa is entirely lined with stratified squamous epithelium to resist frictions and provide protection. Which of the following is not a function of the uterus? Transport both the sperm and oocyst. The uterus transports sperm, but oocysts travel via the oviduct, not the uterus. The germinal epithelium of the human ovary is significant because these cells produce most of the ovarian cancer in women. Despite its name, the germinal epithelium doesn't produce germ cells. However, it's the origin of most epithelial ovarian cancers. Going from the outside to inside, which of the following sequence is correct? Vagina, cervix, oviduct, uterus. The correct anatomical pathway is vagina, cervix, uterus, oviduct. At or near the time of ovulation, large quantities of clear and stringy mucus are secreted by the ovine cervix. True. Estrogen peaks around ovulation stimulate the cervix to secrete clear, stretchy mucus that facilitates sperm transport. Ovaries produce oocysts and secrete sex hormone. Accessory organ, oviduct, uterus, vagina, external genitalia. The follicle development start primordial, turn into primary, secondary, tertiary. Tertiary follicle contain an antrum, granulosa cells, and ceca layers. Uterine types in animals: cow, bicornuate, uterus common in Polyptychus species. Human, simplex uterus, no horns, large body. Uterine layer, premetrium serosa, myometrium muscular layer, endometrium mucosa. Corpus luteum and albicanis. After ovulation, follicle become corpus luteum. If no pregnancy, regress into corpus albicanis. Follicle cells layer, granulosa cell inside the basement membrane, theca interna externa outside the basement membrane. Oviduct anatomy: infundibulum, catches ovulated oocyst, ampulla, site for fertilization, isthmus connected to the uterus. Vaginal anatomy: fornix, rests around cervix, epithelium entirely stratified squamous. Uterine functions: support sperm transport, embryonic development, and parturition, not involved in oocyst transport. Germinal epithelium: surface layer of the ovary, not involved in germ cell production. Origin of most ovarian cancers.